Hi there, my name is Scott Arthur and I'm the Transport and Environment Committee convener here in Edinburgh right now. And hopefully behind me you can see the bus stop on Lanark Road West for the 44 and 63. And hopefully you can also see the green roof there as well. It's lovely looking with the flowers on it. So although I did want to point out that bus stop, because the reason for that will become clear in a minute or two, I'm going to move away from the road to find a quieter spot. We have the Transport and Environment Committee meeting next week, so this is just a quick video to run through some of the stuff on the agenda. I've just recorded another one, it took me 15 minutes, so hopefully this one will be quicker. So first up on the agenda is we're going to look at continuing the dispensations we gave to parking during COVID. So we had these dispensations, you'll remember, because more people were working from home during COVID, and that put more pressure on parking, so we gave more flexibility in terms of where people could park, within the CPZ, so the plan is to continue that. There's an update on the Powder Hall railway line, as was, and the council's plans to buy that so it can be used as an active travel route, walking and cycling. Very worthwhile project. Update on the bus tracker scheme screens. Last time I spoke to the MD, over 550 of their 700 plus fleet were fitted with the technology needed, so we're hopeful that we'll have live data on those screens in mid-June, and that should coincide with a significant update to their app as well, so all good. Update on the planters on Leith Walk. So I think most people know the level of vandalism these have been subject to. It's just been unacceptable. Graffiti, trees have been broken, and rubbish being dumped in them. So I think we have to draw a line under this, and I think the plan is to remove most of them, apart from ones where the local community is taking ownership and they're planting them up and giving them a bit of love and attention. We'll keep those ones, but the rest will be removed. We'll probably use them to establish temporary allotments, and perhaps in our former bowling club sites, not least hopefully the one on Collington Mains Bowling Club, which is on Oxgangs Road North, hopefully. Update on the LEZ. Last year, the Finance and Resources Committee unanimously agreed to ensure that the council's fleet was 100% LEZ compliant. The update shows that we're currently 96.5% compliant, which is a really good place to be, but those last 3.5% are proven difficult for us to obtain via the procurement process before the 1st of June. So I've asked that none of those vehicles enter the LEZ once it goes live. Update on WeTip, largely public transport improvements, but it's more ambitious and complex than that. I'm slightly understating things. In West Edinburgh, to accommodate the significant growth we're going to see there. Real concerns, I think, in the report talking about the impact of the decision by the Scottish Government to pause what's called Bus Partnership Fund money, so money that was actually going to be used to prioritise public transport. But the impact of that in the scheme, so not great to be honest, but the ambition's still there and hopefully some pace as well. Update on 7 bus lanes. So this is the notion that we can run bus lanes 7 AM to 7 PM 7 days per week. We consulted on this last year and I think reasonable questions were asked about it, but we did agree to go forward with a trial to try and explore some of those points raised by the public. And the route we'll choose is the 44, which is the bus stop I showed you up there. Quite a long bus route into the city from Balerno, so even small improvements to reliability and journey times will go a long way. So hopefully that trial will start this year and will last up to 18 months. And we'll collect a lot of data just to make sure that our decisions are made on information rather than just opinions. City centre transformation update. Obviously we're really ambitious to make the city centre a place where it's better to spend time and hopefully spend money, making it easier to walk around, particularly if you've got a mobility problem or even a disability. A big part of that was to remove non-essential traffic. Now the most ambitious trajectory for this is that would really start in earnest in Easter next year. But it seems that the way that the Scottish Government's changing how these schemes are funded, I say changing euphemistically, means that that's now been delayed by a year. So we only agreed this in February and already we've lost a year of progress. So we're looking at spring 2026 for that now. So there's an update and more detail on that in the report. So not great to be honest. So but you can see that both on WeTip, that the public transport stuff I was talking about, and also the city centre stuff, there's real ambition in the city, and I mean right across all political parties to get this stuff right, but it feels like right now that's not being matched by the Scottish Government. And I have to say, these decisions I'm talking about was made before the recent turmoil that the Scottish Government's been through. So yeah, quite disappointing. Update on the bike hanger scheme. So we've doubled the numbers of the hangers on street in the past year, and we're going to double them again by the next year, 380 in total by then. Some concerns about how accessible the scheme is for people on low incomes. So we've got money, external money, to trial reducing the cost of the scheme in the most deprived parts of the city by 75%. And then elsewhere in the city we're going to reduce it by 70%, just to see what impact that has on the operation of the scheme. Still a lot of demand for it though. Supported bus services, so obviously we've got Lothian buses in the city. They do a fantastic job. The vast majority of the buses which run in the city are run without any kind of subsidy at all. But there is some which we do run at a subsidy, including the 63, which stops up there, which is currently run by McGill's. Now we've re-let all those contracts, and most of them have been won by Lothian buses. So McGill's have done a great job for us. I mean, they inherited a difficult situation. They've done a great job for us, but I think it's good now that we've got Lothian stepping up, and it means that those services that are run at subsidies can connect right into Lothian's wider network. One of the routes will be run by Handicabs, which is a much loved and respected company as well. I think based in Loanhead rather than Edinburgh though, but we won't hold that against them, of course, because they do great work for Edinburgh. Also talking about reporters, subsidised routes into Clermiston, Cramond, Ratho, the whole works. So it's the Gael. It's worth having a look at that actually. There's benchmarking updates, so independent data looking at the performance of the council in a couple of areas. One of them is road condition. It shows that across all road categories, A, B, C and unclassified, we're starting to see an improvement in road condition. I agree, it's hard to believe, but that's what the data is showing. But I think for most of us, myself included, we're still to be convinced that things are getting better. But at the very least, let's hope we've halted the decline, and doubling the budget last year and sustaining that level of funding for this year and the next 2 years, we should really start to see an impact. There's an update on weed control. We've agreed as a city to phase out the use of weed killers in the city. You could probably, if we turn the camera around, you can see some weeds behind me there. We've agreed to phase out the use of weed killer in the city, and the current steps towards doing that are provided in the report. So we're still going to provide a really high level of service on arterial routes, town centres, so places like Morningside, Stockbridge, etc., and also the city centre. But in residential areas, we're going to move to different methods and also hopefully respond much better to public complaints about weeds at the same time. Two last things. Penultimate is around Picardy Place. So before COVID, the last Transport Committee, in good faith, agreed to stop the left turn for traffic moving up Leith Walk onto London Road. And that was to improve public transport times through that general part of the city. Now, perhaps the modelling was wrong, I don't know, but I think what's more likely is travel patterns have changed during and after COVID. That blocking that turn is having the exact opposite of what we hoped. It's making public transport times worse. So I asked earlier this year, or perhaps it was late last year, I can't quite remember, for our council officers to look at this. And the report that comes back saying that if we allow that left turn, it should improve public transport times on Leith Street and around Picardy Place. So I think hopefully we'll agree to move forward with that. Then last but not least, we've got an update on the Workplace Parking Levy. So this is a levy which would be charged to employers for each space which is used by their employees. And we know from Nottingham that a lot of the bigger employers pass that charge onto their employees. So this would raise income for the council, but obviously it would come with consequences. And a lot of these consequences have been raised repeatedly by people in the trade union movement. And that's why, so you're really looking at impacts on people who work shifts, who maybe don't have public transport available to them, really concerned about obviously female workers and other people who might feel vulnerable, and also people who are on lower incomes. So until those things are addressed, I didn't feel it was right to go forward with the consultation, which is really the focus of the report. But the Greens, SNP and Lib Dems did do so, and I had to respect that democratic decision. The reports came back, loads of interesting stuff in it, and it's really worth looking at. But I think those points raised by trade unionists and others still haven't been really addressed. What the report asks is that the councillors on the committee agreed to set aside £100,000 to fund a consultant to figure out how much revenue the workplace parking levy would generate and actually how the scheme would work, etc. But because those fundamental questions, so I have to stress that the report is exactly what the council officers were asked to do. They've done their job, but the report doesn't address those fundamental concerns raised by the trade union movement. And I'm not just talking about trade unions in the council, I'm talking about right across the city. And I know a lot of people share those concerns. So until those questions are resolved, I don't see how we can justify going to the next step, which involves spending £100,000, particularly when money is really short just now. So we'll see how things unfold in the coming week, but I don't think myself and my Labour colleague on the committee will be in a position to support that. Okay, sorry to end on a negative. Maybe I should have ended on something a bit more upbeat. Nonetheless, it's a fantastic evening here. You can see right across to Fife behind me. I hope you're able to make the most of it. If you've got any questions, just leave a comment below, and I'll leave a link to the agenda below as well so you can look at those reports. Okay, bye for now.